Yeah, okay, so I have the sound turned on, and I think we're pretty much ready to go. So, yeah, so let's do it without my introducing this video 3 million times. So, hey everybody, hey Gabby and Blood Moon Bobby
Hello.
here, and we did it. This was the big one, the episode, and like everybody on like social media, or at least like every like your Owl House fan was both excited slash scared for. or I mean, geez, even the name itself. Like if my mom saw it, she'd be like, "Good God." It's like Young Blood, Old Souls, the Owl House um, season finale, where it all basically, not all, but it comes down to this. So, especially because the last episode, Agony of a Witch, left such a huge impact. Like, have you seen like the comments of people talking Agony of a Witch? Like, it really left like a gigantic impact, like basically as big as that big blast, magical blast, as what happened in the episode. So it was just like a very highly anticipated episode.
Absolutely,
Mm-hmm.
especially with the hype that came with Agony of a Witch. You think you pointed out just it left us with so many questions, and at
Mm-hmm.
the same time managed to set a form of expectations for the finale, which it was just great.
Yeah, I would say it was a pretty like good finale. I really liked it. It raises a lot of questions, and it does some really clever ideas. Some scenes I think were really fantastic. Watching it together, and it was just, yeah, overall it was a really great finale. So in this video we'll go over what we liked about this finale, what we didn't. I'll also be discussing some fan theories from one of my social media followers. Herlon Campos again sent me even more theories and questions, this time over Instagram. And if anybody else is interested in asking questions about where, like, rumors of like Owl House will go, or what we expect, you could leave them in the live chat. Oh, what's up, Gabby?
Wait, what's that
What?
behind you taped onto that wooden cabinet? It would seem to be.
I'll talk about that. I'll talk about that.
I'm excited.
Yeah,
All right, all
and yeah,
right.
we're also going to talk about out some shipping stuff. Although, yeah, I mean, shipping
Yay.
doesn't really play a big factor in this finale, but I
No,
figured now is
no, no
this was
finale, no finale,
basically,
but
like, big thrills. Luce going up against like her first battle with Emperor Belos. We come up with all these nicknames of this scary guy. Emperor, like Penny, especially my sister, is like Emperor Belly Button, Emperor Jelly
I like
Belly.
that. That'll
Mm-hmm.
probably be my favorite nickname for Emperor Belos.
Yeah,
Emperor
and
Belly Button.
so how like lately I've been like starting to listen to like crazy rock and rap music, and watching like 80s car commercials, just so I don't go panic, panic, we're gonna die. Like
Right.
oh, and like lately, like I've started like listening to like his rap songs, and by the time this episode came, I know I was nervous, but at the same time I was like I could be in a box, like I felt like I could be in a boxing match with Emperor Bellows, and I would still be like hyped, but
Oh
I'm getting
yeah,
ahead of myself. Yeah.
absolutely. It's just
Mhm.
like, you're nervous but excited,
Mhm.
and I think the fact that that it's a story that's being told here, the nervousness translates better into excitement in that
It
sense.
does. It does. It does. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know it's been kind of a thing been going on, but it's something I wanted to talk about, like just because I like being honest with my followers, and it's also
Right.
because I want to do more of these reviews. Like I know lately, because of things like the pandemic, it's freed up much more of my time to do reviews like this. But it's just something I want to do even beyond like the pandemic. So
Of course. Yeah, this is honestly helping me manage my own hot mess of an attempt at organizing my life.
hmm
So I'm right there with you.
yeah, so I don't know, where should we like start when it comes to the episode?
That is a good question.
Yeah, because like there's so much like to like talk about. Like should we like so basically the episode starts with Luz saying I'm going to go rescue Ida because she
Right,
feels that it's
right.
her fault for getting her in this mess. Based on events in front.
King opens up reading the unauthorized history of the Boiling Isles,
Mm-hmm.
introducing us to the whole, like, basically backstory for how Emperor Belos came about, which really doesn't imply a lot of, and by what means he actually appeared. He just appeared.
Yeah,
Um,
which I'm sure we'll get more answers to later on in the series.
right,
Yeah.
yeah. One thing, and I think I pointed this out to you, Bobby.
Mm-hmm.
But I got a weird vibe from the whole skull. It made me very much think of a huge, giant version of
King.
King.
Yeah,
So
I know
I'm
it's like
wondering
a
if
much
that
discussed
plays
topic.
in
Yeah,
somewhere.
because I know like
Yeah.
there's theories of people asking what is King's true form? Is he like what he is in the show, or is he gonna be like turned into, as my cousin would say, like a Super Saiyan form where he's does he turn into like this like big beast that goes around like destroying shit? So it's like
Well, I'm hearing around the internet this rumor that, and supposedly Dana Terrace actually confirmed this, but I have not been able to make sure,
mm-hmm.
that King is what it would be considered a skull cat. Which
What's
I
that?
don't know, doesn't really have any form of precedence, really. The only thing that a lot of people are relating it to is a game in
Mm-hmm.
which they include a playable character called a Skull Cat.
Yeah.
Um, but other than that, there's nothing directly from the show labeling or giving us some form of idea of where the heck King is coming from. We
Yeah.
just know he got his powers taken away. He's tiny and he used to be big and
I
huge.
see. So
Uh,
I don't know. Maybe like it might be just have to be something that will be further explained like
right,
down the road.
yeah,
Yeah.
but definitely that this whole kind of like backstory seems to set some form of precedence.
Yeah.
Uh, um, from there, we see that Luce finds the cape that Ida made for her,
Mhm.
puts it on, heads out off to
Yeah. Heads
save
off with King to
her.
save Ida. Mhm.
Yes, her
Who? Yes.
mentor.
And by the way, like I just came to this realization. This is more just speculation. You know how I keep pointing out in Emperor Belos' throne room, there's this like big beating heart. I'm wondering,
Yes,
is that the Titan's heart? Like, I'm wondering, could that be the Titan's heart?
that is a good question.
Which,
That is a good question.
yeah, that's what I'd like to know. So, like, what, like his palace is basically like this giant like organ chamber, which just makes it sound really creepy. But you know,
Yeah, and so I heard around also this question of,
hmm
is Emperor Belos in some way attached to it in that he can't get too far away from it for some reason? Which I
mm,
think that's a really good question because I mean, why would he set his throne so close to something like that other than like, but maybe he just wants to be intimidating?
yeah, like basically we don't really see him like get out of his like palace much at all. Like it's usually just he sends like Lilith or one of his like soldiers out there to go looking for Ida. So it's like.
Right,
But when you
right.
say attached, you mean it's like he has like the ability to speak to the Titan like telepathically or something
No,
like that.
no, just in that he relies in it
Hmm.
basically for some form of survival or
Yeah.
benefit.
Ooh, I see.
Yeah,
Or at least in some sort of contact. So yeah. So that could be
yeah,
pretty interesting. So yeah. So we basically see Owl Beast Ida captured. And we, get this big thing, and I think a lot of us saw this coming, where he and Ida meet, and Lilith was thinking, Emperor Belos is going to reverse the curse, and is like,
uh-huh, sure,
no, 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 no,
sure,
no. He
right.
kind of, like, for a second, like, partially not even like a big transformation, but just makes it so that Ida could like talk to him, so that she's not just
Right.
going around like breaking shit like she's the opening episode, and just basically says, nope,
Yeah.
you're gonna get like the really big punishment. You're gonna get petrified.
Right, yeah, we could
Which
obviously notice that that Ida, even in her owl beast form, was, you know, she knew more or less what she was doing and what she was attacking.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of funny. There's a scene where like Albie actually like gives Lilith like raspberry
Yeah,
like just
straight up
sticks her
raspberry.
tongue, and Lilith is like
Mhm.
pulling down like her eyelid, so like they're making fun of it, like rude faces at each other. I thought that
Right,
little bit
yeah.
of comedy was kind of funny. So this,
But yeah, I think the fact that we see that Bellis is actually able to bring back Ida, at least to some extent,
mm-hmm,
but doesn't venture into doing anything more.
mm-hmm.
And just kind of looks at Lilith and goes, "You know what? No, I'm not doing it. How
Yeah, like
naive are
yeah,
you?"
he's like don't be so naive, and
Right, yeah,
just gonna give the big
it was
punishment.
never
I don't
going to
know why.
happen.
Like I figured that Emperor Belos wasn't just gonna like reverse the curse, but like I had to and this is like what happens when you get like overexcited. It's like, what could he do? Is he gonna do something like really scary and horrible? And it's like petrification, which it could still be bad, because like I was thinking it could be like a Narnia situation where not only could Ida get petrified, what happens if he like goes up and like destroys her
Smashes
petrified?
it.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
and it's like so, like, set your expectations back. This is Owl House, not Doom
We're not,
Eternal.
we're not necessarily probably even going to go there, at least not in a heartbeat.
Yeah, like at
You
least not
know,
like on
but
screen. So it's like that's what like see, that's what happens when I get overhyped. I get those like really weird like ideas, and I have to like dial back and say, hey, you got to be a bit more realistic.
dude, you've seen me just go off on like my late night ramblings after
Mm-hmm.
watching so many episodes of the Owl House. I'm just like, wait, what about this and the meaning of this, and here in this episode they said
Mm-hmm.
that, which can be tricky.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's just like again, it's like this is Owl House. This is
Yeah,
not
just
Doom
gotta take a
Eternal,
deep
where it's
breath
gonna
and
get
be
really
like, we got this.
yeah
Gotta take it
that's
from
that's
what we
the
can.
yeah. That's
Uh,
the thing. We got we got
yeah.
this. So yeah. So from there, we so we hear that petrification is basically the really big one. It's like the Boiling Isles equivalent to like the electric chair, if you will.
Pretty much, pretty much.
Yeah.
And the way that Luce and King managed to get themselves over there
Mhm.
to save Ida.
Mhm.
Oh no, they stepped on grass with the sign that says "Do not step on grass."
Oh yeah, and they get themselves captured. They basically get themselves arrested and just get sent to the palace, basically. Yeah.
Something so diabolical,
Mhm.
so unthinkable.
Mhm. The
Uh,
shame. The
the
shame.
shame.
Yeah, it's like Nicolas Cage and Matchstick Man. Just the shame on you. Yeah.
And then wait, from there, what's the name of the guy? From the first episode, the one who's opening up the car.
I remember Lou says kind of like stops him and is like, draw us a map.
Yeah, because he's basically the one given the task of letting Luce and King out, though still, of course, supposedly, like how do you say it? Like, they were like handcuffed.
Mhm.
And obviously Luce being able to carry spells basically in her pocket,
Yeah.
or in her hand, just kind of just like throws them out there. It's like, boom.
Yeah, just casting all these spells. Yeah, still with the
Coming
paper
in
method, but
kicking
still.
butt.
Yeah.
The intensity of her magic throughout this whole part in which he's looking for Ida is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
And the application so far of how we've seen her use her magic, it has just been incredible, from boosting up other people's spells like Amity's Abomination, the Grudge Bee Ball, stuff like that, and now seeing it just on its own, having the spotlight, just like it works that way too.
Yeah.
It's just uh
Mm-hmm.
it opens up for so many more possibilities as to how we could see all this type of magic applied, and in
Yeah.
sometimes in some ways have an advantage to those who only get to point a wand and or you make a circle with their finger
Yeah.
and just go boop.
Yeah. It's kind of like it's
So
in a sense it's kind of like what Ida has been saying like all along. Like especially when I think back to dang, it was the Adventures of the Elements, and she was telling Lucy you don't need a wand, basically.
right, yeah, that and the whole concept of it's not a matter of just being able to do it. Once you have a connection to it, it has so much more power. And I
Right.
think we see that so much more with Luce, in that even in the sense of how she obtains new spells,
Mm-hmm.
she's got a big advantage. Like,
Yeah.
let's say um, she finds something in Emperor Belos's spells that she can use. Like, if a rune comes up of any sort, then boom, that's all she needs to begin practicing it. She doesn't
Yeah.
have to, dig deep into herself necessarily
Yeah, it's kind of
spiritually
like
every
again,
single
yeah,
time.
it's kind of like again in Adventures in the Elements, she masters the ice spell by just like basically tracing, like drawing the snowflake.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's in such an organic way that the whole spiritual connection is implemented already in the physical aspects of her spell casting,
Mm-hmm.
which makes it so much more effective. I'm just like, yes,
Yes.
I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. But yeah, it's wonderful. And then we get to the scene where she meets Albie's right? Oh my
Yes!
god, I
Ah,
love this scene. This was a really well done dramatic scene from the acting and the writing. I thought, oh my god, this is just it's funny. When I
ah.
was watching the episode, I was like, oh, this is they're just going along. But it's like after I watched the episode and I thought about like that scene, it was just like, holy shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I find the way what's the voice actress for Ida's name? I'm
Wendy
sorry,
Malick.
Wendy Malick.
Yeah.
Um, the the way she decided to deliver the line seems,
Mhm.
although out of place for the situation, so in character with Ida,
Yeah.
in the sense of I think it makes sense that Ida would be this kind of person who, even in a situation
Mhm.
that a lot of emotions can be brought out,
Yeah.
they're the one who's kind of like trying to keep it in with themselves and not make it as more difficult than it already is.
Yeah.
Which I figured, I thought the voice actress just did a great
Yeah,
job
I
with
really
her.
like Wendy Malick. Like she knows how to do like really like those kind of scenes where like in the agony of the witch. I really like how she delivered the lines when she was telling Luce, "I might not be coming back to take care of King."
That delivery.
She is
Oh my
just
God.
amazing at doing that. Like I
Yes.
really. Yeah, oh my god.
Or
Like I'm telling you, if I first of all, like, I really want to meet, a lot of the people in the, Owl House cast. It's like if I ever meet like Wendy Malick, it's like that's gonna be the first thing I tell her. It's like you know how to do you do dramatic deliveries so
right.
well. It's like, yeah.
And the deliveries for Luce's character as well. I
Mhm.
think tapping into that anger that we don't get to see all of the time with Luce was just greatly executed. Yes,
Mhm.
yes,
Yes.
we do not
And
expect it, but it's Luce. That's Luce getting angry, and
yeah,
you
that's the
can
thing. I
feel
do
it.
remember, like, cause like so we get to scene, and it's just really well done scene. Luce is like saying, like, but we're a family, and I love you. It's just like, and
Right,
while
the
Ida's saying,
emotion
no,
is
nope,
just
you, no,
there.
I want to send you back because I can't protect you. And when you get back to your world, burn
Use
the
your
key.
magic
You have
to,
a like,
yeah.
you have, you have a family back home that you can return to and be safe. It's just like just so that, and it's like that's the thing. And when we get to Lilith, like I could kind of like sense like she's gonna be pissed. She is gonna be like
Oh
just
yeah,
like
like okay. So we go from there to the portal being open. We get the scene that was shown in that. I guess you could call it a sneak peek
yeah. I don't
that
know
we
why I
got.
didn't pick up on it. Maybe it just like passed by too fast for me to catch. But
Yeah,
yeah.
where Luce is on her knees and she's crying, and the
Oh,
door
that
is
one. Yes, yes,
behind her.
yes, that one.
Yeah,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and then from there we get Lilith, who hears that King and Luce are roaming around, running around the place, and she basically takes advantage of that to meet up with them and
Mm-hmm.
try to let them know that she's on their side.
Yeah, and Luce just goes into this battle, and understandably, like like you can understand why Luce is like so like furious and just like blasting all these
Oh
like
yeah,
spells. It's like what you said
absolutely.
about like what Ida did in the last. She just goes like all mama bear basically.
Yeah, just
I
because
like I
rage mode is
yeah
activated.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Rage mode
Yeah, I
is in
really
full
and
force.
like yeah, I mean, I don't like constantly like comparing shows to other shows, but it's kind of like how like in Avatar. Remember the episode where Appa's missing, like he's kidnapped, like, and it's like the first time you see Aang just
Yes.
like so like just
Like
normally like really like happy. I'm almost beyond words. It's just like
yeah,
this
it's just
normally
like Aang is
happy-go-lucky kid.
typically this
Yeah.
calm Zen sort of like voice of reason who can manage
Mm-hmm.
to stay chill in
Yeah.
some of the most difficult situations, but touch his flying bison
Mm-hmm.
and he will go berserk.
Yeah, and this of course leads to, and people were bringing. This is the part where people said they saw this in promos, and I didn't quite see it. They actually, for a second, get flung into the portal during their fight. And this is also to get
Right.
to my social media follower who was asking me, because I know one of the questions was about that scene when they get to Earth. I'll pull it up. Where is it? Uh, let's see. If I can't find it, then we'll talk about.
Yeah, and this
Here's the one.
okay.
Why couldn't I think person was referring to Luce. Why couldn't Luce use her spells in the human world and Lilith could use it normally? Like, I thought that was a really good question, and that might be one of the it's kind of like one of the like weaknesses of the paper method. Like, it's really great that Luce can cast them, but and this is the it's kind of like a strengths and weaknesses kind of thing. The one downside is she's on Earth. You can't she can't use that method.
I think that might have to do a bit with where Luce is getting the magic energy that she uses when she uses glyphs.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm kind of applying Little Witch Academia logic here in that uh, Luce isn't necessarily getting any of the energy from herself,
Mm-hmm.
being that she's not actually a full blown like a natural born witch
Yeah.
with one whatever it is the name of the gland that witches have that lets them just tap into their magic
Mm-hmm.
easily. Luce is more than likely working off of the energy of the land.
Right. Interesting.
And since we don't have the same kind of creatures going around in Earth, where Luce is from, the energy might not be there,
Yeah.
so she probably can't tap into it. While, Lilith is, she's good. She's carrying it with her in her own
Right.
body the entire time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to bet on that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There might be something she could bring with her as far as like regarding Luce with her once she manages to figure out what and how
Yeah.
that could keep her capable of using magic despite not being in uh, you know the demon world.
Yeah, like basically off the boiling isles.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. And now we get to, and oh my god, I really like that. I just really like a lot of scenes in this
It
episode.
was great. It
Yeah,
was
like
great.
the backstory. We finally get. Oh, I'm
Flashback,
talking.
flashback,
Like,
flashback.
I'm talking like I'm so enthusiastic. My software's constantly telling me I'm blowing out the microphone, but it's just like we get to the flashback. I've been waiting for like a flashback, like between Lilith and Ida, and just seeing what happened, what caused their relationship to just fall apart. And also,
Yeah.
interesting note, I like how when Lilith was saying that she and Ida were like the best friends. They show the scene where like Ida trips and gets the scrape, and at first I was thinking, oh, Lilith is like gonna show me a healing spell. I was even thinking, oh, here it is, Gabby the healing spell. It's like no. Instead, what Lilith does, and I
No,
thought this was interesting. Like she actually like uses a spell to put a scrape on her own like knee, and it's like it's the kind of thing where
yeah,
she's like you like. You don't have to like be in pain alone. Like I'm not wording it right,
right.
but I thought that was
Right,
really
yeah, like
interesting. Yeah.
yeah. Um and I think in part it shows selflessness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we get to look into it a little bit. Uh it may seem like, although it's not necessarily a healing spell, it
Mm-hmm.
does uh take off a bit of the pain along with it since they're sharing it.
Yeah.
So there is that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just sweet to see
Mm-hmm.
how they interact, and how we see that Ida herself also cared very much for her sister, uh,
Definitely. Yeah.
and was when they show them trying out for the Emperor's Coven, you know, Lilith is here ready to fight Ida, expecting her to, kick her butt.
Mm-hmm.
And Ida just stops and says, "You know what? I don't want to do this. I don't want to fight my sibling.
Yeah.
You go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Take the win. I don't even care. I'm a go."
Yeah. Which, by the way, to get to Herlan's other question, do you think I didn't see this, but do you think we got a glimpse of what Amity's parents looked like when they were younger?
I have seen the screenshots going around the internet. You have
Mm-hmm.
to zoom in really close, like they're in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
They give me practically the same vibe as the Amity's brother and sister.
Yeah.
So I'm going to bet that that's probably them.
Yeah, I mean, just like ooh, and to answer another one of Herlan's questions, I do think we're gonna see what the parents look like, if not season two, at some point, because
Well, yeah. I mean, once Lumity starts rearing its head again, and we
mm-hmm,
find more development, ultimately, we're going to get to the point where Amity's parents find out, and I'm kind of nervous to see how they're going to react, because I'm not going to give myself false hopes and that, oh, they're going to take it, no
yeah, no,
problem, they're going to be
especially
happy
because
about
yeah,
it.
because especially since like the Blight family has a tendency of being like kind of elitist, and it's like we only hang out with our friends and like the best as like witches. It's just like, and here it comes because you remember what Amity was like when she first met at Luz. Like she was kind of like, this human girl. And it's like she was skeptical that a human could do magic. So it's like I think her
Mm-mm.
parents are gonna have that same expectation, if anything, maybe even more adversarial to Luz.
And not only that, but what kind of trouble are they going to give Amity? Because
Which,
Amity is the one with the emotions coming out first.
yeah.
This is like my own daughter. How dare you?
Yeah, it's like you
you
only hang
know,
out with and like and it's just gonna be like this like big thing because it's not just Luce. She's also like hanging out with Willow, the person the
Willow,
person's
the
like
person
you
that
do not hang out
yes.
with. So it's just like
It's
oh man,
going to be a wild ride. And
yeah, it's gonna be a
am I
wild
looking
ride.
forward to it?
Hmm.
Probably not, but I'm
Yeah,
going to say that it'll be worth seeing it all work out in the end, hopefully, unless they want to have some sort of terribly depressing turn of events. And I'm not going to, I'm not going to say that's a bad idea. I want to see it work out.
yeah, I think it will. I also, not to get too far off track, but I was also wondering because you know how Amity went from being basically a bully to like Luce's friend slash secret crush. I'm also wondering
Oh,
what if they
yeah.
do a thing, and this is speculation. What if they do a thing where it's like for a second, like Amity might side with like her parents for like some basically same reasons as she was for a kid, because she didn't want to get in trouble. But ultimately, again, she has to kind of like sort of like remind herself like a second time that hey, I really like these people. I like Luce. I like Willow. Like, I'm wondering what
Well,
if they do that.
well, here's the thing. It would be a very, very good opportunity to look into the experiences of somebody who's closeted.
Mm-hmm.
Simply because there are people who actually experience that and go through those questions. Should I do it? Am I just crazy? Is this a phase?
Yeah.
Should I listen to my parents? Is this actually me? You know?
Mm-hmm.
And some people actually get, you know, what's the word? Defensive,
Mm-hmm.
um, kind of like they try to push it off, you know.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, I'm going to fight it. I'm not going to let myself go there.
Mm-hmm.
And the weird thing is that in those situations, um it doesn't turn out well for the person
Yeah.
emotionally, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm definitely looking forward to see the whole emotional roller coaster of Amity, not in the sense of seeing her go through that experience, but
Yeah,
to
it's
to
more like to
see
see how does the story, like, how does it,
exactly,
where does it go from here?
not to mention that it is a great opportunity to kind of, help other people view this experience through a lens where they may be able to pick up on stuff that can help them if they are ever in that kind of situation in real life.
Yeah.
So yes, it's going to be crazy, but it's going to be worth it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but getting back to the review, so
Right.
basically, so Lilith goes over to Eden King's side. I get the names mixed. Luce and King's inside and like helps. And so they go back. Oh, something I really like. I really like this bit of like visual storytelling. Before they go back, Luce kind of looks back, like behind her, like back toward like the human world.
Oh yeah,
And
and
when I
can
first
even
saw that, I was
ask her.
I was like, what's she thinking? What's going on? Like, I
Yeah,
thought that
King
was
even
great
asks her, "Hey,
foreshadowing.
do you need a minute?" And she's
Mm-hmm.
like, "No."
Yeah. Reminder: I did say the spoilers ahead in this video, as often the case when we do the
Yeah,
live
no.
reviews. Yeah.
If anyone has not seen it, I apologize.
Yeah. I put it in the description, so
Okay, good,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
good. And from there, Lewis points out, "Hey, where are all the guards?" After Lilith brings them back
Mm-hmm.
and shows them where they can go up to the stage where Ida is. And
Yeah.
as
And
if by cue, Emperor Belos
mm-hmm.
just makes his presence known. His
Yes.
throne off in the back dark corner of the room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's basically the fight we were all anticipating. And yes, of course, Emperor Belos is quite a tricky opponent.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes. Just oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I can't help but feel intimidated by him.
Yeah,
He's
like oh my God,
spooky.
Like Matthew Reese, you know how to do a really creepy
Oh,
voice. Like
absolutely,
oh my God, yeah.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole bit where Luz just kind of goes all out. She's like, I don't care. I'm still gonna fight you.
Mm-hmm.
And manages to crack his mask.
Yeah, like actually, like not stab his eye, but like kind of crack like the eye of
Yeah,
his mask.
yeah. She actually even gets to bring back a piece home.
Mm. Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah,
Mm.
she pulls it out when she goes further down, where we get further down in the episode to where
Mm-hmm.
she's recording the video of her
Yeah.
mom. We're gonna go
Mm-hmm.
here just real quick. She pulls out the piece of mask
Yeah.
right there, and then just brings it back. But yes, although she didn't completely beat Emperor
Yeah, like
Belos, which would
not.
have been too quick,
Yeah,
she
I
does
mean,
definitely show that she's a worthy opponent.
oh, definitely, because like I didn't want them to do a thing like what happened with Snoke in The Last Jedi. Like, remember when he gets axed? I thought
Oh, where
like
he's just
like it's just like really. I thought he was like gonna be like a much bigger deal, but okay. But it's like I'm glad that it was the kind of thing where it's like yeah they have their first fight, but it's by far not. It's like the old saying goes, it's like, you may have like won the battle, but you haven't won the war yet,
Right, yeah, and Luce basically tells him that in I may have lost, but so have you, after giving him the
Mm-hmm.
portal,
Yeah.
only to find out she has stuck fire spells onto the would-be portal suitcase-looking thing
Yeah.
and makes it explode.
Yeah. Basically, like sacrificing her one way of getting home. Yeah.
For the chance to help her friends.
Yeah. And also potentially like let's keep it real, like save or the human world and Earth, because like who knows what is Velos'
Exactly.
intention? Why does he? Because like that's the thing he wants. Like his biggest priority, he wants the portal.
Now, why? That's a big question.
Mm-hmm.
There's so little to go off of as to why he would even be interested in it, especially when he makes clear that it's not a matter of taking over the human realm.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've heard stuff on the internet I don't want to bring in here, but I'm hearing some very interesting ideas going around the internet.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, like just to be clear, the way so like Gabby, you did your homework and your research and looking into the reason like
right,
I don't do that with my reviews is because I try to come in here with like as fresh a mindset as I can, especially
right.
like with how like the like people can get if it's like with this kind of stuff. It's just like yeah, I mean, I think like after I get done, maybe I really should probably look into theories
Absolutely,
more so that
yeah.
I could do a better job thinking of like theories of other shows, and you know
Oh,
what I'm saying?
yeah, and here's the thing. We don't necessarily even really have to get way deep into the theories,
Mm-hmm.
only because that's what they are. They're theories.
Yeah.
And once we take our time to see if there's any sort of stronger implications, we can know what kinds of theories to go with,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm hoping season 2 will bring us more answers as to why in the heck Emperor Belos has such a strong interest in the portal to the human world.
Yeah.
Um, but yes, and even then, we do get to notice that he gets right onto the job of rebuilding it.
Yeah, like at the
Uh,
end, it was like it really reminded me of Gravity Falls. Although in this case, this is not for good. You know.
oh no, absolutely
No, no, no,
not.
no, no, no.
Although Grunkle Stan, when he was building his, we were kind of questioning what he wanted to do with that
Mm-hmm.
originally. So I like the vibes I'm getting here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yes, there's a whole thing with the portal.
Yeah.
Uh,
So yeah, it's just a basically kind of thing where it's like he's gonna try again, and
And
we don't
there's
really
this
know.
whole thing happening on the at the same time up where Ida is
Mm-hmm.
with Willow and Gus.
Yes, like
And then we
they're
even meet his dad.
yeah, who's a TV reporter, and like basically they get the crowd to like tell them hey, Ida is like yeah, Ida is kind of a wild person, but she didn't hurt anybody, and they even get like some people in the crowd saying oh, Ida helped me with this, and even Principal Bump is like she made me love teaching again.
After she left.
Yeah, but it's like yeah, it basically gets the crowd to try to root for Ida, if you will.
Yes, I thought it was okay. Probably a little quick, but other than that, I think it was pretty spot on.
Yeah.
Um, then what happens?
uh, Lilith and King are thrown into Ida's cage.
Yes, Lilith
Hmm.
and King are thrown in there, and cue Mama Bird mode.
Hmm.
She's like, "You hurt loose.
Yeah,
You cursed me."
yeah.
Ah!
This whole episode is just filled with like really strong emotions, some of which we've like never like seen. Like we've seen like Ida go into Mama Bear mode, but this is like the first time like Luce is like like in a really like super serious don't mess with me kind of mode.
Oh yeah, I mean, Lucy even picks up like a crystal ball and smashes it out of
Hmm.
rage.
Oh
Yeah, well,
yes.
she's
Hmm.
intense.
Yeah. It's just like, but that I guess that's the ingredients of what makes a really good like season finale, just a lot of passion and just feelings we don't always see from the
Right,
principal cast.
and I think I pointed this out too to you,
Hmm.
Bobby, in that I noticed that a lot more sincerity was pulled out of King than in typical episodes. I mean,
Hmm.
yes, we do know that King ultimately gets into the sincerity of his emotions, but not without a whole kind of like development as to where he's pushed to admit them. So
Yeah.
seeing him just cut into the chase, like, yeah, I love Ida.
Hmm.
I consider her family, so I want to help her too. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, it
Uh,
has a really strong family element that's like really like explicitly seen throughout. And I think that's what
yeah,
makes it like so like I think like just like talking about this, I'm just like getting all these like emotions with myself. So much so that like when I started thinking about that scene where it looked like Ito just wanted Luz to go home for safety, I started, how like I've been saying I've been like listening to like rock music.
right.
I started listening to like orchestral music and like the
Oh,
scores from movies like October Sky. And when I started like wait, do you know the October Sky theme?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it has this like that this like violin and it like kind of like the Schindler's List violin. When I started hearing that
Okay.
violin, I was just like feels.
Oh
It's just
yeah, that
like
and
God, it's
oh,
like and I'm not saying they needed a violin, but it's just like that sort
it
of
would have
level of
definitely been fitting.
yeah. Hmm.
But yeah, and when we see Ida coming into her rage and about to just kind of like let completely loose on
Just like
Lilith.
clawed the crap out of Lilith.
King comes in, being of all things a voice of reason.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here like, whoa,
We were like
King,
really see like what
okay.
King is about, like what he is, like deep down, and
Right.
telling Lilith that tell. I'm juggling characters. Telling Ida that no, Lilith has betrayed Emperor Belos.
For you.
Yeah. Hmm.
And it's great.
Yeah.
The
And
chemistry amongst the characters is just
hmm
amazing.
and then we get to Luz telling, dang it, how do you pronounce her name? Kikimura was
Kikimora.
Kikimura, yes. Like, just like saying, you better stop or else, oh, I'm a this, like, what was it, like a
Right,
fire
yeah, she's
spell?
like she literally starts off a fire spell and says free them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, she's not messing around.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think if this makes it easier to remember, I do remember hearing Belos referring to her simply as Kiki.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see what you
Uh,
mean. I'm
but
like, I'm
yeah, she's
like,
all like, huh, okay, cool, let's open it. No
yeah.
question. Mm.
Yeah, and basically make their escape. Well, for me, it's just I'm the kind of person where it takes me a while to like, remember the names.
It's hit or miss for me. Either I will have it burned into my memory,
Yeah.
or it will take me 30 to 40 times hearing the name in
I
order to
see.
remember it.
Yeah. But yeah, so basically make their escape. And to bring up another one of Herlon's questions, Emperor Belos basically says, this is like what happens when you what was it, like disobey like the rules
Yeah,
and
he's
you're gonna
like,
be cursed.
let this be a lesson of the dangers of wild magic.
Yeah, which Herlon's question was basically, how do you think the town's going to react? Because we see everybody at first like was getting amped up and in support of Vita, but after hearing like Bellows kind of make that sort of like threatening like bit of a speech, it's like, do you think they're going to go back to thinking, just go back to running as if like nothing has happened?
Okay, what would I love to see happen that they begin to see that Emperor Belos is not a good guy
Oh no.
and putting everything in a horrible context because we all know that had nothing to do with wild magic or
Mm-hmm.
it going wrong.
Yeah.
But in reality, even though let's keep in mind that these people know that he is speaking hogwash.
Yeah.
He may be speaking hogwash, but he if he wants something to get done, he will make it happen.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised at all if they continue to fear him and follow him simply
Hmm.
because of fear. And even though they're losing trust, they're just like, I'd rather just keep him happy, out of, keep myself out of trouble than necessarily fight against him.
Yeah,
Uh,
until it gets to like, another really contentious point like the events in this episode. Yeah, I
right.
kind of took it as like it might be a thing where like they're starting to like think that, yeah, Emperor Belos is this, really like evil dude, but they're not going to like go out on the street and say, "I support Ida," cuz it's like with the unless you want to get thrown in the dungeon or God knows what.
I mean, we'd probably be looking at mayhem on the
Yeah.
streets, which is
Mhm.
like, if you know what the streets are like there already, it's like, holy mac, it's going to be almost full of war.
Yeah, we're just like full on, just like pure and utter
Yeah,
craziness. So
yeah,
yeah, so I think for now it's gonna be a thing where it's like they may start, it's kind of like it's gotten, like you said, kind of got the gears turning. That hey, maybe this Emperor Bells guy isn't what he seems,
And
but
as much as I would like some sort of complete rebellion being instigated from this,
mm-hmm,
I can see the slow beginnings of an army to fight off Emperor Belos
yeah,
and his own army.
mm-hmm.
So I'm really liking that, and I'd love to see, it to continue to further develop into this strong unit of strength.
Yeah, I think yeah, that would definitely be really awesome. And
Mhm.
so we get to the scene that like I figured despite all the people who were like, oh, Lilith is this horrible person. I even like told you there's this like hashtag on Instagram going around Lilith
That's
is
like,
over party. But like I figured she would do something like this because I don't see Lilith as like a really like, like ethically horrible person. It's that she was misguided.
right, yeah, and she obviously made some really bad decisions,
Mhm.
and I think up to this point we didn't really have quite clear where she stood.
Yeah.
Only because she was talking about, oh, but Emperor Bellis is going to help you.
Yeah.
We could still wonder how she would react in that moment that she realizes that Emperor Bellows has different ideas.
Nope, 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 nope.
And she came through.
Yeah.
She came through big time.
Yeah, and
Because she could have just easily have been like, oh, okay, then this is what I am now.
mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, so basically she like, goes and now is basically like I think they're implying that she's going to, go live in the owl house with Lucy and King, and of course she reverses the curse. However, it's not as simple as oh, curse reverse, because now the problem is Ida's magic, like she's turned back to herself, but now her magic is starting to weaken as
Yes.
with Lilith, and that was like the foreshadowing I was mentioned earlier, because now Lilith is also taking like her like piece of the like sort of like curse as well as like a sort of like she's taking like her punishment, if you will.
Right.
So yeah,
Basically, she does the same thing that we see in the flashback, in that they basically share the curse,
mm-hmm,
rendering it less directly impacting Ida, at
yeah,
least enough for her to have her general form restored, save for a gray eye.
yeah,
While Lilith gains a gray eye, and both of them seem to have their magic powers diminished.
yeah,
How diminished is Lilith's powers? I don't know, because she did
mm,
not try. But it's very obvious that Ida does no longer have uh, the same magic powers in herself as it is, um, that she used to.
yeah,
But Lewis proposes helping her figure out the same kind of magic that she's learning, and that they can
yes,
both use it,
mm-hmm.
and from there become powerful together.
Yeah, definitely. So it's gonna seem like now it's like Luz has to teach her mentor or
I like to see it more so as like both of them learning together,
Right.
mainly because it was still Ida who kind of guided her into the way she has learned to pick up new spells. And if it wasn't for Ida and her ability to, connect with whatever powers of nature that she wants to harness magic spells from, Luz probably wouldn't have come across the glyphs in the first place.
Yeah. Oh, I just noticed I have one of my followers in the live chat, Jefferson. And hello, how are you? Did you see the? Do
Hello.
you watch the Owl House? Did you see the season finale? So I'm hoping to hear back from you. So yeah, just honestly, just talking about this finale honestly makes me like it even more because like before like we started, my basic consensus was yeah, it was a very good finale. Maybe not my favorite Owl House episode, not quite, but it still had really good developments and it raises some really good questions. But it's like now that when I think about just all the like emotional drama and seeing these sides of characters we normally don't see, like we don't usually see, it's just like this is actually like up there as one of the like best Owl House episodes, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Where do we go from here?
The
Yeah, that's
theories.
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, let's actually get to Herlon's theories, and if anybody else has like your own theories or questions, you could let us know in the live chat. So
Yeah, and I think quickly though, I'm just going to point out that it's after this that we see that Luz begins a blog of sorts in which that she's going to keep like a
oh,
video
that's right.
diary
Yeah, her
for
mom.
her mom.
Yeah,
Boy, is this going to be, crazy when her mom finds out what she's been up to.
yeah,
And that is where we see her pull out the piece of mask that she managed to take as a souvenir from her fight from Emperor
yeah.
Belos.
Possibly like could potentially be like a really motivating thing. It's like I got a piece of Emperor Belos's mask.
And I think we have another moment in which she tells her mom something in Spanish, and I just every time I hear her say something to her mom in Spanish, my heart is just like
Mm-hmm.
and then hearing her just tell her mom, "Hey, leave a light on for me. I love you," is just like,
Okay, now that you told me what that means, it's just like yeah.
yeah,
Now I'm getting that feeling of
yeah. It was
yeah.
just so sweet, just
Mm-hmm.
like, oh my gosh. And I find it even more fitting that her name is Luz, which
Mm-hmm.
literally means light.
Yeah.
But just telling her to leave a light on for her, I'm just like,
Fitting. Yes, absolutely fitting. Yes.
my emotions.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
Oh,
this
okay.
is
I think
just
now
yeah.
we're ready for the theories, right?
Okay, so yeah, so the first one from her line, do you think the Emperor is lying that he can talk to the Titan?
Absolutely. I would call that absolute hogwash. I do not believe one bit of that.
Which actually, yeah, come to think of it, with how like manipulative this guy is, it's for me, it's the kind of thing where it's like, I'll I don't want to say I don't believe it because I think it's a possibility, but it's more of a thing where it's like, I'll see how it goes.
Does he have some sort of connection with it? Maybe. But
Yeah.
does he have a strong connection in what it's telling him exactly what to do and how to do it?
Yeah, just this
No.
Titan is just
No.
like this absolutely mysterious like creature, if you will.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so second, Lilith is now part of the Owl House family. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Cause like I
Yes.
was honestly wondering if they were gonna go all the way and like Lilith was gonna now like, live with Ida, Luce and King. Like I figured this would be a good time for her to turn and redeem herself. But I was just
Yeah.
like, is she gonna live with that? Like she's gonna like fully like escape from Emperor Belos?
And here's the thing. I think if she had not gotten found out so prematurely
Mm-hmm.
by Emperor Belos, she would have had the opportunity to kind of become a mole inside of the Emperor's Coven.
Yeah, that would be interesting too.
But, there's the whole thing. Emperor Belos knows everything now.
Yeah, and
So,
like, there's no way she's gonna like, unless Lilith can pull like a Metal Gear Solid, where she's like Solid Snake sneaking around. The house is just like,
yeah,
which even then, that's
that's,
really
yeah,
like,
pretty
yeah,
much
it's
out of
yeah.
the picture, which makes me sad because that would have been so cool.
Hmm.
But I think we have an equally as interesting opportunity here with her being part of the Owl House, and I think it's more fitting for her to be there.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway,
And so, next one. We talked about this. What will happen to the kingdom after the last speech of the emperor?
give me a moment. I need to think on this.
I think.
I'd pretty much say that they try to pull it off as, okay, back to normal life, guys.
Hmm. But it kind
But
of, as we said, kind of gets like, it may be getting their like gears turning and thinking,
exactly, deep
maybe,
down, something has been stirred.
yeah,
Emotions have been stirred.
yeah.
Uh, it's not going to be completely the same, despite how much they might want it to be.
Yeah, so it may not be like a thing where you're gonna see like next season where you'll see like villagers saying, I hate Emperor Belos, la da 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 da, because it's just like, no, unless you want to start like a fight in the street or get thrown in the dungeon, it's just like,
Or beat
no,
up,
not
straight
quite.
up as that.
Yeah,
Probably more likely just thrown in the dungeon.
yeah,
But, Disney.
yeah. Hey, I was the one who, and like I was telling you about this earlier, Gabby. I had this like weird idea of what if Blood Moon Marco like fights Emperor Belos. This is just
Oh,
my
yes.
imagination. And when Emperor Belos gets defeated, it's like Raiders of the Lost Ark, when all where it gets all like gory and stuff. But it's just like, oh wait, this is Disney, so it's like that can't happen. And I mean, I
Oh,
know
that
it's
would
like
have been
funny.
hilarious,
Yeah, I
though.
know it's like funny because now Disney owns Lucasfilm. Up, careful. Well, but it's
Yeah.
just like, nah, they can't do that in the Owl House. The most they could do is Toffee like being melted to his bones in Star, which I still remember a lot of people freaked out. It's like,
Oh,
whoa, they got
yeah,
away with
that. I
that. Yeah.
forgot they did that.
Hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Toffee, by the way, I'd still say is my all-time favorite Star versus the Forces of Evil episode. I thought that episode was just
Yes,
brilliant. Yeah.
Toffee as a character, he was just really interesting.
Yeah. So number 4, will Hootie stay like this since Ida lost half of her powers? So like, will Hootie? I guess the question is, will Hootie like basically remain the same character?
That is a good question. Probably,
Yeah, I'm
if he
leaning
is
towards.
simply the house,
Yeah.
um, because it doesn't necessarily seem like any kind of magic spell that's been made by the person gets lost.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Ida hasn't necessarily died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Like, yeah. I was also wondering, ooh, would they go there? But even like in Agony of a Witch, Ida was like, no, it's not that morbid.
Yeah, no, gosh.
Yeah.
But I think we're still going to have the same old Hootie. Pretty
Yeah.
sure. It would be too sad for Hootie to be, just kind of put down like that.
Yeah. I think so too. Okay. Loose. I'll read this. Just as is. Luce will be able to attend the Hexside Academy normally, since, as we know, I challenged the Emperor for what will have its consequences. So I think the question is, can Luce still attend Hexside? Which I always thought was interesting, the way Hexside works, especially because doesn't it have like its ties to Emperor Belos?
Kind of.
Yeah, because I just found it interesting, that Luce was allowed to enroll, and on top of that, like get like be allowed to learn all the different kinds of magic, whereas everybody is just put on one track.
Seeing as the principal still seems to let stuff slide,
Yeah,
despite being in a way only financially connected to the Emperor's Coven more than
yeah,
anything. I don't really see any problem with her doing that. I
mm-hmm,
think if that would have been a problem in the beginning, Belos would have just gone there and found loose and say, "Hey, I'm here. Now I'm going to
Yeah.
squash you like a little bug."
Yeah, or say something like, get lost, basically.
Right.
Yeah. Although, since this is Emperor Bells we're talking about, it would probably get more destroy, destroy, destroy. But,
Yeah, we
yeah.
probably might not even have a Hexside campus.
Yeah. Okay, so there there are other kingdoms in that universe, since it is mentioned there are other titans, so there must be other islands, therefore other emperors. Do you know about that one?
I hadn't heard anything about it. I would expect there to be more than just one kind of like society in that
Or
whole
like
area.
does like the Boiling Isles have like its neighbors? Kind of
I
like
would imagine. I would imagine.
yeah.
Um, And who knows if there are different ways of going about magic.
Mhm.
Not to mention that we have the concept of wild witches,
Yeah.
and that brings about the concept, at least for me, of nomadic witches,
Mhm.
which I think would be an interesting concept.
Yeah.
Seeing groups of witches who go around traveling in order to, just kind of survive. And who knows, some of them might have actually come from the Boiling Isles and decided to become nomadic simply because this jerk over here is trying to tell them how to live their lives.
Yeah. And this jerk's name is Emperor Belly Button.
Belly button!
Yeah. And okay, so next question. The Emperor is human, which I don't.
Yes, yes,
Huh?
I'd heard of this.
Huh?
I'd heard of this.
Oh.
And I've seen this mostly looked into by Ostrich Vox.
Mhm.
Uh,
Which, by the way, shout out to Osric Fox if you watch this
yes,
video, because
awesomeness.
I've talked to him before and I gave him a shout out in the past. So,
It's
hey.
amazing. I love you guys' work.
Mhm.
And the videos I've been seeing for the Owl House are just holy mac. I had noticed there was some kind of weirdness coming from Emperor Belos's staff.
Yeah.
But looking at stuff like that and the gloves he's wearing and the way his magic works, it's strongly implied that this magic isn't coming from him.
Wow.
His staff seems to be some sort of form of technology
Mhm.
instead of any form of relic or magically infused item. And, well, there is also the connection that he has to whatever area it is he's connected to or seems to be connected to.
Yeah.
So it might be that the area in which he can use magic in some way, shape, or form is more restricted than even Luce's, who we find out
Hmm.
cannot do it in the human world.
Yeah, I see.
And the only kind of person we've seen who has that kind of issue in which they have to go about magic in a different way are humans.
Mhm.
And some people are pointing out how he may have been getting his magic energy from originally the demons, seeing as the demons that we do get to see in the show are basically a smaller, less intimidating version of what they look like as far as in their illustrations,
Right.
including King,
Mhm.
who I think bears a resemblance to the Titan, which
Yeah.
could strongly imply, however he did this, that energy comes from them, and somehow that could be brought back. And if that happens, I want to see a mega version of King just kick butt, which would be amazing.
Yeah. I'm sure my cousin would be like, let's see a Super Saiyan form." Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
also another writing scene because I was so happy that we got to see Luce and the other guys ride Ida.
Mhm.
That was
Yeah.
one of the things on my bucket list for the episode, and I was so
Mm.
happy to tick it off.
Yeah,
I
I
was like,
see. Yeah,
yes.
honestly, I
And
really wish I had that sort of like ability to like come up with all these these like fan theories.
I could be completely off, and I'm
Yeah.
just going
And
crazy
but you
right
bring up a
here.
good
But
point, like we have to keep in mind like these are like, these are theories and we have to see
yeah,
them played out. They're still like interesting, like mind you. So yeah.
but yeah, I think there is a strong possibility that Emperor Belos is human.
Hmm.
Again, I don't necessarily know if we have enough to go off
Yeah. If
on to
anything,
say it. but there's a possibility.
Yeah, if anything, maybe that's part of why he wants to like build a portal, like to get to.
Exactly,
So
and
it's like,
that's why I was this close to referring to it when we were talking about his whole connection to the portal.
yeah.
But I kind of was like, okay, Gabby, chill out. But there
Mm,
you go, thank you, and now I get to talk about it, and I'm
yeah.
excited.
Yeah. And also thanks, Herlon, for bringing it up. Next one. Who would be the spy that the Emperor sent to the Owl House? Which I'm
Another good
yeah,
question.
which I'm tempted to think like probably one thing could be it could be as simple as like maybe it's like guards, maybe even like Kikimura might become like, because remember in Agony of a Witch it starts off with like Lilith and some of the soldiers are like surrounding the Owl House.
Right, yeah, though I think we have to look at that stranger with the weird, almost owl-looking mask that we saw just kind of disappear into the shadows.
Yeah.
Uh, I have no idea what to think as far as who he is, who they are. This could we don't know anything about this person except they somehow seem to have some sort of like barn owl-esque mask, which
Right.
is pretty darn cool.
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of like disappears into the shadows once Bellows is talking about keeping an eye on the owl house.
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to have like a permanently set guard who's hiding around there? Is this
Ooh.
going to be another person who could potentially be added to their group once they find out the messed up stuff that Emperor Belos has done?
Mm.
Questions.
Yeah.
So many questions.
Somebody else in the chat was like, says a new character. Think I still have trouble pronouncing your name. What do you mean by a new character? Are you referring to Kikimura, or could you
No,
illustrate?
no, yeah. Did you not notice that there was the guy with the owl mask?
Oh, yeah, that
Yeah,
character. Yeah. I see
yeah.
what you mean. Yeah.
So enter new character. Very
Okay.
well put.
Hmm.
I could also definitely see Kikimora kind of like just tailing along behind them, like make sure you do it this way. The emperor wants it done this way, and the
Yeah.
emperor didn't.
Yeah, like
But
basically, like it's almost like all she needs is freaking binoculars, if you will.
yeah, she'd be like, "Are you doing it right?
Hmm.
Take note."
Yeah,
They took a breath at
and
6:51 p.m.
and yes, this person was referring to the spy. So I'm
Yes,
guessing, yeah.
yes, pretty much. So
Hmm.
I'm very excited to see who they are.
Yeah, likewise. And so
Ooh.
next one, and we talked about this one. Why couldn't Luce use her spells in the human world, and Lilith could use it normally?
Right, yeah. Yeah, I think we kind of established that there might be some sort of connection to the Boiling Isles and the energy that Luce uses for her magic,
Hmm.
while Lilith, being a witch, has whatever it is the gland is that witches have to use magic.
Hmm.
Uh,
Was that yellow thing on Ida's outfit? Was that the gland? Remember it turned black?
I don't know.
Hmm.
That very well might just be part of the curse.
Mm.
But yeah, no, because Lilith does. You know what? I'm going to take a look at Lilith's design and see if we have anything similar to that.
Okay.
Because I don't remember seeing anything like that on Lilith. Dun, 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 dun. I'm sorry, I can't share my. You know what? You might be onto something, unless they just both decide to have weird gem thingies. But when Ida talks about the gland, she doesn't necessarily point directly to that. So I'm here wondering what the heck.
Hmm. Yeah, and also, it's this comment. Easy magic is connected to the witches and the Titan heart, which was referring to.
Possibly that could be a good reason as to why it would be connected to the Boiling Isles so much.
Yeah.
And again, if it was just a matter of her needing witches around her, then she would have had Lilith, so that would have worked out. But
Yeah. In a kind of weird way, wouldn't it be like a very like what if in a way the Titan is kind of like a sort of like necessary evil for like loose cuz like you know what I'm saying?
Well, I don't even think that the Titan is evil in itself. I
Mm.
think it is very much necessary and that it makes the Boiling Isles what it is.
Mhm.
Now, does Emperor Belos take advantage of that and maybe, you know, tarnish it? Yes, very
Mhm.
much so. And I think if there was somebody else in power, letting things go more in the way that they're supposed to, whatever
Yeah.
way that may be or works out,
Mhm.
um, you'd have a lot more stuff going around, going on than what we have right now. There'd be much stronger witches, probably,
Mhm.
many different kinds of applications of magic, possibly even more so than just beyond, pointing, wand using, and
Yeah.
paper. There could possibly even be other ways of using it. Um, but since we got Emperor Belly Button here keeping everything under wraps,
Yeah.
we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know, and we may know, maybe even like later on at the series at some point.
Hopefully, hopefully.
Yeah. What's this? Okay, so next one. It is possible that there is an how I don't know how to pronounce this word. Aquerrale. Is that a word?
Oh, I can't even make that
Hmm.
out.
Well, the rest of the question is it possible that there is a amount of the most powerful families of the Boiling Isles? Like some sort of like group of like super powerful like witches.
Maybe good. Do you think you could spell that out and send it to me or something?
It's Aquerrale.
Aquarel Aquarial.
Yeah, I'm not really sure.
Um, like I don't know. I mean, if they're talking about making a group of like very very powerful families in the Boiling Isles, bringing them together and making some sort of kind of like force. Yes, in fact, I'd say it'd be more than just those powerful families. I'd say that more so the public in general would probably come together and just make a super force ultimately, just because that's what happens once you leave all the power in one person and that person is trying to control everyone. They have their one group that gets to be around him, and everyone else gets separated from him. And that
Hmm.
everyone else tends to get upset, tends to get together, and go off against him.
Yeah, I
So
could.
that would be my biggest, like, that would be my biggest bet
Hmm.
that would
It might
happen.
even be a thing. What if it becomes a thing where we've talked a bit about like Amity's parents and how they're all, like we only hang out for friends. What if it becomes like a thing where it's like Ida and Luce might even like need like them in the end, where they have to like convince them, you gotta
I
help
can
help us.
definitely see
Yeah.
that. I
Hmm.
I hope I hope that there's the whole thing where you know Ida, Amity and Luce manage to convince them that there's nothing wrong with what's going on
Yeah.
as far as they go, get
Hmm.
them on their side, and point out that this jerkwad belly button guy
Hmm.
is probably not that good of a guy, and that if they team up with them, they can kick some butt.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, that would be interesting. Next one, will Lilith turn into an owl beast just like Ida?
I I wouldn't think so, just because
Mm,
its effect on them has been diminished since it's got spread out.
yeah,
Maybe. I think it's still a possibility, just I don't really see them going there. But
Yeah, I don't either. Especially because like the impression I had when Lilith like reversed the curse was basically Ida no longer turn into an owl beast. The downside is the problem is now her like magic abilities are starting to diminish.
Right, yeah, because they're basically sharing it now,
Yeah.
as opposed to it just being on Ida.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, there's definitely there's still that off chance that they would do it, but I don't see them doing that.
Yeah. I meant to rewatch the beginning of the first episode before the stream began, but maybe you could refresh my memory on this one. You think that Luce's staff will be like in Azura's story that Luce told in episode 1 where her best attack is the missile she launches?
Right, like the one that she gets to see and hold when she does the quest, right?
I think
The
so.
chosen one quest. Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. I mean, this again. I think back to Little Witch Academia in that they have that whole kind of thing going on there too, where the main character is connected to this fictional character that they're absolutely obsessed with,
Mm-hmm.
or if not fictional character, kind of like this bigger figure,
Yeah.
or like idol figure. And they end up basically inheriting that staff, wand, what have you. So I could definitely see Luce's staff manifesting into it, mainly because I think if she had some sort of influence on it, she would use that influence to make it more like the the book that basically inspired her to be so interested in magic.
Yeah, and it would be an interesting like piece of foreshadowing, and it's so cool to see because like it's basically like Luce is now like setting off and telling her own like story.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah, and I mean that would definitely yeah, like that would definitely go well with the whole Little Witch Academia vibes that are going there. I don't know. Have you seen Little Witch Academia?
nope.
Okay, basically, like it's this girl is just really into this one witch. She wasn't born with any magical powers herself,
Yeah.
but she grows into them, and turns out that. And sorry, I don't mean to spoil anything for My Little Witch Academia people who haven't learned this yet, but one of basically her favorite mentor in the school that she's in turns out to be that witch that she had looked up to so long ago.
Hmm. I
And
see.
there inherits the same kind of role that this witch had, and the same relic which she found in the woods that her idol used. So she basically inherits the wand of the person that she held great esteem for as far as magic wielding. So I could see something like that happening, although obviously Luce would be inheriting it necessarily simply because we're at least at this point talking about a fictional character in
Right.
her universe. So more than likely she would make it a reality for herself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see what you mean. So
Yes.
yeah, I've got through all the questions and theories for Herlon. Thank you for sending them in. If anybody else has theories, sure to let us know in the live chat. Or if you're watching this after the video is posted, you could leave them down below in the comments. So now we get
Please.
to what I know you wanted me to talk about. It's like, what is this? Like, what's that sitting on my wall? So
Yay!
yeah, basically, so when especially like Lumity became a thing, I wanted to wait until like Lumity became like sort of canon, if you will, before I really start working on a shipping flag. So I've talked about before how me and my sister have like designed a whole bunch of flags for different ships. So like this was the one that me and my sis Penny did for Starco. Yeah, the red butterfly. Basically, the idea was red for the passion of the ship, white for peace among shippers. One,
Yay!
the one we did. I think this is one. She might have helped me with this. This one is Clokey, Chloe and Jackie from Star.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
combination of seashells for Jackie and Fleur. I'm pointing at the wrong thing. Seashells
Flo,
for
Flo,
Jackie and Fleur de
Flo,
Lis for Chloe. Yeah, and that one in particular was like inspired by French colonial flags, and I just thought it was a really neat design.
oh, it is very nice.
This one is Globclipsa, Globgore Eclipsa.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
it's cute.
Yeah,
You
great.
know, I love anything with Eclipsa.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, yes,
Yeah, and
please.
this one, me and my sis made, and I begrudgingly said, "Okay, I'll make
Oh,
this."
no, I think I know what it is.
Tom Star.
Ah, it
Yeah,
burns.
yeah, it burns. Seriously, though, that silver ball dance is just like, ugh. Like,
You're still salty about it.
well, I'm kind of joking because it's like it's not that like I hate the episode. It's just the inner shipper and me just starts talking
I
like
know, I
Joe
know.
Pesci in Home Alone. It's just like. So yeah,
I would
like you remember
probably
we
be
did
the
the
same
trailer
way. I would
reaction where
probably be the same way.
yeah, we did the trailer reaction where I did that like special effect where I made it look like Tom blew up up my car.
Yes,
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, if anybody hasn't seen it, I highly recommend it. Yeah, that was literally, I think that was like one of the first times I used After Effects, particularly for like a special effect like that. I downloaded the explosion graphic and learned how to do it, and it was just really
That's
crazy.
awesome.
Yeah, it was in yes for film fans. Yes, that was inspired by the intro of Martin Scorsese's Casino, where Robert De Niro's character gets in his car and it like blows up and it goes
Oh
into
yes,
yeah.
yes. I remember that was gold. That was comedy gold.
Yeah. And now, this is the big reveal. The flag for Lumity. I think I've shown you like rough drafts, Gabby, but it's like
Yes.
dun 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 dun.
It's beautiful.
Yep,
And this little Albert.
yep.
Oh, it's
Albert,
so
the crown. I'll
cute.
post this on social media probably tomorrow or after the stream. Got both purple to represent loose, green for Amity.
Low key, or maybe not so low key.
Mm-hmm.
Look at all this blank space I have on this wall.
Yeah.
Part of me is thinking, let's get a tapestry.
Yeah, that would be really cool. So, yeah, that's the design that I've worked on. Yep. So it's just yeah. So I'll post it on social media so people could get a much better look at it. Yeah, because it was nice for once. Because like I've done some flags for like ships outside of a star, but I haven't really shown them all too much. So it's just like for because like Lumity is like becoming this like so popular. It's just like I have to do something. So it's
Oh,
just
yes. I
yeah,
apologize in advance if I snatch it and end up doing something with it on my own end.
yeah. No, it's okay. It's understandable. Yeah. In the chat, Kaio says is adorable.
It
Yeah,
is.
and
It's so
hopefully get
cute. I've been constantly rewatching the dance scene because my shame is just almost non-existent, and I absolutely love it. And
yeah.
yes,
It's
it's
kind of too
adorable.
bad that in the world of shipping that I had this like this is just me being like just me and letting my imagination run wild. I think I mentioned it in a prior stream. I was just kind of thinking, and this is just what happens when I watch like videos on like the auto industry and the UN when I get bored. It's like, what would happen if like a bunch of like shippers like got together and started forming these like formal groups? And I was like, if the car makers Nissan, Mitsubishi, and the French company Renault are like in an alliance. Like, what if there was an alliance between Lumity, Starco, and Katang shippers?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, I
three of my
remembered you
favorite.
made
Yeah,
that up. Oh
yeah,
gosh.
yeah. But it's just unfortunately the world doesn't work that. And also, like Penny pointed out, like one problem with that idea is what happens if the person like doesn't necessarily like ship all three. Like, what if there's a person who's like, I ship Starco and Lumity, but not so much Katang, or I don't ship like Starco, but I like a
I know,
community.
I
So it's
know,
just like,
and
yes,
I think the main thing you can do,
yeah,
although this would be, I don't know if I would go there,
yeah,
but it would probably be like going with ships that, probably give the same vibe.
yeah.
So I would probably be like, I'd look at stuff like, I'd probably put Bubbling in there
Mm-hmm.
with Lumity. I can't think of another really good cartoon ship like that, though.
Yeah, well, there's
Which is
plenty
weird
out
because
there.
those are my favorites.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, funny enough, like I saw this on Instagram. Some people are like, what if?
Oh, oh,
Uh,
oh, Adora and Catra from She-Ra and the Princesses of Power.
I see.
Boom. There you go.
So yeah, it was just the kind of like the idea I had is what if there was like one like organization, like this is obviously like just for fun. It's like this weird idea I had. It's like what if there was like this one organization that had like shippers. I'm so silly sometimes. It's just like, and it had shippers from like it had the members are Starko, Katang, Lumity, and Ninten Anna from Earthbound Beginnings,
Oh my
and they're
gosh.
going up against like this like rival which has Tom Star, Zutara, and Depifica from Gravity Falls.
Oh
Is
Lord. Oh
yeah.
Lord. As long as it's not as long as it's not Dipper and
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think the chemistry is adorable, but there are obvious reasons why. It's like, yeah, they probably shouldn't have gone through with that shit.
Mm,
As far as like canonically, only speaking canonically.
yeah. So yeah, so it's just I don't know, it's just like me and just letting my imagination sort of roam wild. It's like I think we're all of us are like that to a degree.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so
It's
it's
fun
just
though. That's hilarious.
yeah, so it's just like for me, it's just sort of thing that like it's just letting the inner like sort of like fanatic in me like come out every once in a while. It's like I come here to do YouTube videos to review shows, but I also like to every once in a while talk about what does the fanatic in me like to say. Like I just kind of
Yeah.
separate, like try to mentally separate the two. So yeah, so it's just I've already like through with the first season of the Owl House. I mean, I just
And
remember
now, what am I going to do with myself? I need more beautiful magic
yeah, I
stuff.
mean, yeah, I have like plans to check out. I don't want to be too specific just in case I don't end up making the plans, but I do want to do some more reviews down the line. I'm still kind of debating what am I going to do next. Like I might start like going back over to movies, but as far as shows go, I do have like ideas with like other Disney Channel and like HBO Max shows, but I don't want to get too specific because I don't like breaking promises.
Oh,
So
that's fair. That's fair.
yeah, so
And I'm here just going around checking out everything. I actually went back into uh, She-Ra and the Princesses of Power just yesterday. Funny enough.
hmm
So I'm probably going to try to go back on that. And then of course uh, there's always Sailor Moon, which I started over this summer this year, but there is so much Sailor Moon.
hmm yeah, I see what you
I don't
mean.
know if I'm going to full on go back on there. Plus, I got stuff I got to watch for my classes and whatnot, but we'll see.
Yeah, yeah, it's been good fun. So yeah, I noticed that our friend in the chat says as long as different shippers like talk friendly, everybody will be okay. So basically, as long as
Yes,
shippers are friendly, we're all
yes.
good.
This
Yeah.
is the kind of idea that I had when people started complaining about shipping. Who was it? Who was it? It was Peridot
hmm
with either Amethyst or Lapis. I'm here like we can all get along.
Yeah, we can
We
all get
don't
along.
have to
Yeah.
fight over this because that just became like a war zone right there. Just like,
Shipping
gosh,
war.
darn, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I decided to, for fun, I asked this Tumblr artist if they would let me color in some of their comic strips. I mean, I'm not like a great coloring person or anything, but I remember I posted it, and then just a couple of like the next day when I was looking at what everyone was saying, I get this comment just going off about like, oh, you ship Peridot with this person, blah blah blah. This is the true ship, blah blah blah. And I'm here like, oh, I don't
Yeah.
care who you ship them with. Ship them with who you want.
Hmm.
So it's just like we don't need to get there. It's fine. We're all people. These are fictional characters. Remember, guys.
Yeah, I'm always having to like remind myself. I mean, it's like what I said in the last stream. It's almost like kind of like, I mean, it's not a perfect analogy, but it's sort of like how, I was mentioning like the movie Home Alone. Like, as kids, most like a lot of people like the movie, like, oh, tee hee ha ha. But now, when people grow up, it's like, Jesus Christ, if this was real, the
Right?
burglars would
Yeah.
probably be dead. So it's like it's that sort of thing. Like, again, I don't
It's
know if
like
it's just like a part of like growing up, where it's like now that with when you have much more experience with like the outside world and things like that, and like start getting into like like start to understand
yeah.
people emotionally. It's like yeah, but in like those kind of cases, it's like you have to like take a step back and not take it overly
That
seriously.
and the emotional investment that's seen when you go into that extent, it's just like, yeah, you do need to remind yourself every so once in a while. Yeah, we're talking about fictional characters here.
Yeah.
Does it maybe suck if it's confirmed or not? Yeah, it probably may suck if it's left ambiguous, but that doesn't mean you gotta get mad with other people who ship the characters you do with other people. It's like that's open to interpretation. That's what happens.
Yeah.
And even then, like even with ships that are confirmed or not confirmed or thrown out of the picture, is the dynamic still there?
Mhm.
Absolutely. I remember our friend Steven even goes so far as to say that there's more to one aspect of a ship than just romantic.
Yeah.
Case in point, he brought in was Ice King and Marceline.
Mhm.
Putting Ice King and Marceline together romantically is just whoa, wow, why? But the dynamic that they have as a character, as characters in the show is just, that's where you look at it and see, okay, there is something there to look at, and the interactions that they have is something very intimate,
Mhm.
despite it not being romantic at all.
Yeah.
You know.
Mhm. So yeah, I don't know. It's just like when it comes to shipping, I almost talk about it more so. I mean, yeah, I was like big into Starco when Star was around, but yeah, it's a part of me that I try to keep more so on sort of like the fanatic kind of side of myself.
Right, yeah, and
Yeah,
that's just part of the fun of enjoying the show,
yeah, I'm like
that the fun that comes with being a fan.
yeah, and especially yeah, because like I think of like we think of shows now. Like I mentioned this in our Phineas and Ferb review. Is like nowadays shows have gotten like a lot more like serious and darker, and it's like it's fun like once in a while because yeah, it's like in like intense and all, but at the end of the day, we still like we don't just come here to like see like intense shit or getting scared.
Right,
Because
there's
just like if it
more to
was
one
just yeah,
aspect of
it's
the
like because
show.
like if it was just that, then why are people watching these shows if like you're not getting any sort of enjoyment out of it?
Yeah, you're just freaking yourself out, like, oh no, now this happened. Although, granted, there are some people who really enjoy that in a show,
Yeah.
like
Although
Game of
that's also,
Thrones.
but that's kind of like part of like the thrill, like enjoying the thrill of it, like going down
Right,
a roller coaster,
yeah,
basically.
but there's more than one way to enjoy it, I think, and that's
Yeah.
why
I guess for
it's
me,
fun
like
to
the
also look at
lesson
ships.
I'm learning is that it's not necessarily always like a feeling of, of, oh, I'm being happy and this is great. It could also be feelings of, whoa, where is this going? Or, oh no, this character kidnapped this character. Or, oh no, is this
Yeah,
character going to die? So I
it's like,
think,
oh no, a cliffhanger.
yeah, so it's, yeah, but yeah, I think it's just that, you just have to remind ourselves that, hey, this is just like part of the enjoyment. Like that feeling, that's not like, it's not the same thing as like getting scared of like, oh no, this of like a real life problem, like, getting scared of like something that bad's gonna happen to your job or, you know, something like that. It's like two
Right,
completely different
yeah.
things, yeah.
Though again, the whole flight or fight response is just, I can't tell the difference.
Yeah. yeah, like in the Star versus the Forces of Evil days, I had a really like tough time because it's weird because I did want to see the story go. I just didn't want to like go oh my god. Yeah,
It's like heart palpitations. Oh no, my heart.
yeah. I mean, like I still remember, and I think I even mentioned this in like past videos when I saw that battle or from Muni trailer where like with like things like they're revealing that something's gonna happen to Moon and Eclipsa. I got so nervous I nearly puked.
Oh
It's
yeah, I remember that.
yeah, like I remember just like I got done watching the trailer. I think I only just like watched it visually because I couldn't like even bring myself to listen to the
Oh
audio. Like
wow.
it was just such a like intense experience. And nowadays, I mean nowadays if like I knew Battle for Munich was coming, I would probably just do the thing where it's like go listen to like a Motley Crue or Moby like song, like to get that like sort of feeling, because like this
Yeah,
is
just
good.
pump
This is
yourself up. Yeah, this is
yeah.
good. We got this.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be crazy story.
Yeah, because like lately it even like, and not to drag this out even more, but it's even like I had to kind of like remind myself. It's like I'm feeling nervous, but why do I still want to watch it? Am I just, and it's just the kind of thing where it's like because part of you does still like really enjoy like watching these
Yeah,
shows.
you want to know what happens. You're invested. That whole investment that's got you all freaked out is also the investment that's saying, "Hey, let's go watch it again."
Yeah. I need to start doing that, and I think that's to a lot of people's credit. I think that's what that generates really good fan theories just from repeated watches. I mean, I think that's why you hear a lot of people say like with Stanley Kubrick movies, you don't really know them until you've watched them multiple times because within the multiple times you pick up on things you didn't see the first time.
Right,
Yeah, like
absolutely.
yeah, like I've seen like when some of his movies, so, like there's like quotes I hear. It's like that was said in the film. I didn't hear that. Yeah.
And that I think that's also another thing that just in general, when you find something that you really like and
Mm-hmm.
you get to pick those parts out, it just makes the experience of being part of the fandom of it just that much better.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Mm-hmm.
almost like you're going on an Easter hunt that just you can go on over and over and over again and find new stuff.
Yeah. It even like helps with like introducing telling people what are the other franchises you get into. Like I remember I went to this convention in Pasadena and I met up with one of the cosplayers I follow on social media. I think you know who I'm referring to. And I was like telling her about like Mother 3 in the store and what I heard, and like her mind was just blown and she was surprised. It's
Right.
like wait a minute. So it's like, so wow, Earthbound has like a really deep story. And the weird thing is like, I mean, again, I haven't finished all the cutscenes, so I don't know like about how it ends, but I'm kind of surprised that I didn't have those like freakouts when I saw, because like Mother 3 story is like a story full of like all this like emotional drama. This is probably like one of the most like, it has one of the most dramatic stories I've ever seen from like not even a Nintendo game, just a video game in general. Like the
That's
death of like
true.
oh my god, like the death of like Lucas's like Mother 3 spoilers. I'm just gonna give away some of the like opening bits. Like that's like, did you even know, like Lucas from Smash, right?
Right,
It's like
yeah.
that kid has been through a lot, like more than I think most people. It's like his mom, it dies and it affects him for like years and years. It's like that's like Earthbound. It's like I didn't know that.
Yeah, delving into that kind of stuff,
Hmm.
I can imagine it just
Yeah,
gets really
and I
dark.
think I told you about. Did I show you the sunflower field scene where he or Lucas is like jumping towards his mom, and like he wants to be with her again, but he gets sent back to Earth.
I think
Yeah.
I remember you showing me that. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's just like holy cow, this like whole story I didn't expect. So yeah, so it's fun to tell like other people. Yeah,
It
so
is.
yeah, and it's
And
just a
just
kind of like reminder, I'm mentioning all these like scenes from Mother 3, and it's probably gonna be, I'm probably gonna have a similar experience if when I meet up with my cousins again and tell, because like when I meet up with my cousins, they always ask me, what do you like, what shows you're watching, and they tell me, oh, they're currently watching Dragon Ball, and I tell them, oh, I'm watching Star, and now it's gonna be the Owl House.
right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah. So yeah, so yeah, it's just even kind of reminding me, hey, this is this is just part of the excitement. So
Right, yeah,
yeah,
it's just another kind of aspect of the experience of finding a show you like and just delving right into it.
yeah. So and also Kyle says as long as the story is the primary focus on the show, I think he was referring to what we were saying earlier about how we were getting so much into the shipping, but yeah, at the core,
Uh,
this the
yeah, I
story,
mean, we could totally just go full on like probably not in this show, but there are shows where we could just go full on into the whole
yeah, I mean like
shipping
yeah,
situation. Steven Universe, Homestuck.
Star,
Homestuck is pretty much the first place I remember, and I think I'm not sure, but this is like where I kind of saw the concept of shipping introduced. I mean, they even have the character Nebita, where she's basically the one kind of pairing everyone together, and that she even makes like this giant kind of like wall full of the different possibilities of what characters can get together and what kind of experience that would be, what kind of emotions would be going on there. And yeah, that, so that's definitely an aspect that if you look into it well enough, you can find shows that you can really delve into with that. But obviously, the Owl House right now had very different, a very different idea,
yeah.
especially putting Amity in a cast.
Yeah, yeah, and it's just yeah, and it just kind of reminds me of like a funny line that there's this funny exchange between Luce and King in the Sense and Insensitivity episode where King says something along the lines of "There's more to life than shipping," and Luce is like, "Don't you dare insult all like shipping in
Exactly.
front of me." Yeah,
It's like there is if you want there to be,
yeah.
you
It seems like
know.
the two things in like fictional stories that attract Luce the most is either if there's some kind of romance or a backstory. Like those are the two kind of
Yes,
things. Yeah, yeah.
yes.
I also like not to just start like spouting like all these facts of the Owl House, but I still remember in the Understanding Willow episode when Amity didn't want Luce going in that a certain memory. She was like, "There could be a crush," and Luce was like, "Oh, I'm there." Yeah. So, yeah, just a small
Oh,
discussion talking
funny.
about this really amazing like episode. Like seriously, talking about this honestly just kind of have made me like like this episode even more just from talking about the details.
Oh, absolutely. I just this show in general, the more I look into it, the more I'm just that interested in, it's pretty dang great and there's so much to look into.
Yeah. Yeah, and probably even more when the second season comes. I'm not
I hope
sure
it's not
when.
too long.
Yeah, although I'm guessing here's gonna begin. People are like constantly asking when is season two gonna come out? When is season two gonna come out? And yeah, for me, I'm only really gonna talk about a season two release date if it's like confirmed from like Disney itself. Like I don't really like doing like rumor videos because rumors may or may not come true.
Right, yeah, and I mean, unless there's anything to really give it any basis,
Yeah.
eh.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's like channels like I see that in like the gaming community a lot, where you see people saying, "When's the PS5 gonna come out? How much is it gonna cost?" And it's like, that's not really my style.
Right, yeah, and I mean, the only thing it would be the only thing that could really get us even mildly interested or kind of attentive to what's happening as far as that goes would be if anybody from the crew started talking. But I mean, the likelihood of that, mm, I don't think so.
Yeah, no, especially because I'm sure Disney has like their NDA forms and doesn't want people like going around saying, oh, this is when like the Owl House is coming. Let's say season two is coming, or even a trailer. So it's just
Right.
yeah, so it's probably gonna be like up to Disney to announce the release date.
And not to mention that rushing anything like this is never a good idea. The more you
Yeah,
try to rush it, the more issues you see pop up and in whatever it is that's being made. So I think it's best to just kind of let them handle it at their own pace.
Yeah. Yeah, I still remember like when the fourth season of Star Wars coming out, everybody was like concerned it's gonna be the final season, which there was precedent with Disney because I've heard that their shows, even at like their most, don't go past the fourth season. But even then, I wanted to like wait and see if a trailer was coming. And sure enough, when trailers for season four were coming out, they were like going out of their way to say this is it, this is the final season.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
To which, yeah, I know there's still people who are like, we want to star like fifth season.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I see that all the time. Which
I
I'm
wouldn't be
more so in
surprised.
the boat of maybe down the line there could be like a star like a sequel movie. And I still remember, I went to like this panel with Darren FC and Adam MacArthur, and Adam was saying, like maybe someday we could see like a Marco Jr. running around. And
Oh,
I think he was implying maybe when like one day when Star Marco when they grow up and become adults and kind of like with Aang and Katara, it's like maybe
oh
someday they'll
yeah.
yeah.
That would be interesting.
Mhm. Yeah. So but until such a day comes, we'll just have to wait.
I mean, there's always the whole show to rewatch, so
Yeah. Yeah, I know. No, like yeah, I know lots of people have like rewatched Star. I think even multiple times, like since it ended, and especially now because the whole show is on Disney Plus. It's much easier for especially people who may not have a cable subscription to watch.
right.
Yeah, to which I think Dana Terrace said that Owl House will be on Disney Plus after the first season finishes. I didn't expect her to mean that means like immediately because like in fact I'll double check right now.
Just the fact that it's going to be on Disney Plus, I'm so happy. I hope they don't change anything. Please don't.
Yeah, I hope
Please
not.
don't. I will be upset
Hmm.
if they change anything just because most of the stuff they're changing is usually just no bad idea.
Yeah, no, it's not currently on Disney Plus. I mean, hopefully, maybe I will make a video whenever Disney announces, hey, because I think they released like their like September releases, but I don't think it had Owl House in it.
Right.
Yeah. Honestly, it would be a good like fit for October, don't you think? Like a show as
That
like
would
spooky and
be that would
mysterious
be
as like the Owl House. I think that would be a great fit. Like, and I could even see like fans getting together. It's like we're gonna rewatch the House on like Halloween. It's like I think that would be
Oh,
awesome.
you're
Yeah,
giving me ideas.
yeah,
I would absolutely rewatch The Owl House for Halloween.
yeah.
I could have it, because I like getting people together and just we get to watch stuff
Mhm,
uh, on whatever it is that I have. So I could already picture it, just kind of having it playing and then, just making our jack-o'-lanterns and
mhm.
eating food, just,
Hmm.
spooky
I've seen
time.
like a jack-o'-lantern with Star's face. Do you think somebody will come up with like, oh look, jack-o'-lantern with Luce's face or King's face?
I would probably say, if not Loose, probably King, and if not either of them,
Ida?
probably Ida.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that would be a potentially real creative. So, who knows? Maybe because like something I've learned about streaming services lately, because I've been learning about things. It's like why isn't like every like movie from a studio on the streaming service? And I've learned because licensing and these things are planned out well in advance. You know.
Yeah, and I think that's why we're seeing more and more of what's coming out becoming an exclusive for the streaming service because so far that's been one of the most successful ways to have something directly contribute to the streaming service as far as finances go. So, I mean, maybe we'll be seeing that more and more, in which either some companies will make their own streaming services depending on which ones become popular,
Yeah.
and others will join said popular streaming services and team up to create originals specifically for those dedicated streaming services.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm already, like I said, I'm already on board for what's going on with HBO Max and Cartoon Network, so I'm digging it.
Yeah. I'm also interested in like knowing when. Speaking of shows with another season, I'm also curious to know when the second season of Close Enough is gonna come out. Because
Oh,
I
that would be
watched
cool.
like
I
all
still
the
need to watch it.
yeah, I watched all the episodes of the first season, and yeah, it's basically like what I expected, but that's good. It's basically like you want a regular show with like more adult jokes and bizarre situations. Like, oh, wait, did
That
I tell you
sounds
there's this like
awesome.
one probably the funniest joke I can think of is there are these like killer stripper clowns, and here's the thing about like one of the clowns is able to make a certain part of the body into a balloon animal. I won't be more.
Oh, that sounds painful. How
Yeah,
does that not hurt?
yeah. I don't know. That's like the craziest joke I saw in Close Enough.
Ah,
Yeah,
ow,
yeah. Just ow. Yeah,
ow. Oh
yeah,
gosh, it's in my room is getting dark, guys.
yeah.
Hold up. Ah.
Okay.
Oh no, I have hat head,
The all
but
good.
I have no hat. There we go.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah, there we
there
go.
it is.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well,
Oof. All right.
yeah, so well, we're getting. I think we're getting close to ending the stream because we've just basically went above and beyond talking about. I'll
Pretty
take
much. But
one
when
last.
don't we?
Yeah. Well, that's what I like doing. I like doing a lot of these streams. But yeah, especially and also, so if anybody else is in the chat, you could let us know your thoughts on this final, not final, but the season finale of Owl House. Also, or any thoughts on the other episodes. But yeah, for this, I felt it just makes sense because if a season finale, there's even more than ever. There's questions of where can this go, what does this mean, and really big like developments like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, man,
So
we've
yeah,
gone through a lot.
it's just like it's kind of like what's like somebody I know on social media once said. It's kind of funny to think that not too long ago, Owl House was the show where it was like, when's it coming out? When's it coming out? And now the first season has come, and now it's already like finished the first season.
Yeah, it seems like it all happened in a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
I
So
mean, how many episodes were there once? There were a good amount of episodes by the time I started watching, to be fair.
yeah.
But it wasn't too far off. There were a couple of more episodes left.
Hmm.
This is also relatively soon for me to be this into a TV show.
Really?
Usually, as far as me coming about it on my own, I'm very slow.
Hmm.
Sometimes I don't come across it until it's had a good two,
Oh,
three
I see.
seasons.
When
So
did
I'm
you
just glad.
when did you get into Star again?
I actually, funny enough, I found Star shortly after it began. There were maybe two or three, four episodes out,
Hmm.
and I watched them all. It was a short, just really quick, like give me half an hour and probably be done. Uh, or maybe even more. I don't know. But yeah, and that's why partially it's like, oh, I got onto the show too quickly. I don't know if anything's even going to come across, come about this show. It might just be one of those short-lived kind of moments where it's like, this show was so cool and it lasted so little. But lo and behold, it
Hmm.
basically went on for a good while.
Yeah, four
And heck,
seasons.
heck, the experiences we've had with it are just incredible.
Yeah, definitely. So, but yeah, in the case of the Owl House, I think it was like good for us that we like found out about it. Um, pretty early on. Like, especially because, like,
Yeah.
for me, I didn't see Star until, like, a year after it aired. Like, basically, it was right around the time, like, season one, it was in between that time of season one finished, whereas season two. So it was just that kind of, like, catch-up period.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, yes, I didn't necessarily get to see it as soon as it began, but it was pretty darn close. The only other show I really got to see that soon, I can't even think of any.
Hmm.
I think the soonest I've seen a show, funny enough, was Go Diego Go. I think I was probably there for the first episode airing, but was I that invested that I continued to? No. I saw one episode. I was already way beyond the target audience to be like, oh yes, let me sit down here and watch all of Go Diego
Hmm.
Go.
I see.
But other than that, I've always really gotten into that kind of stuff really late. Like Over the Garden Wall, which was practically what got me back into animation as far as what's coming out. Um, it was all completely released by the time that I was watching it.
Mm-hmm.
Steven Universe was practically almost done with its first season. Like a couple of days after I saw Over the Garden Wall, and my friend Danny decided to, hey, you really seem to have liked this show that we watched, so I want to show you one that I'm watching, and the rest is history.
Mm-hmm. I see.
But even then, I was practically almost done with its first season, so I think it's about the same as where I got into Owl House. But wow, that's so fitting.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, come to think of it, I think there's a good number of shows that I didn't get into until like not until after it was already pretty established. So like with
Oh
Star,
yeah,
it was before its second season. Gravity Falls, I was late.
way late. Me too.
Yeah,
Me
because like I
too.
think did we start like watching it the same time?
Relatively, I think you guys still took a little more to catch up,
Mm-hmm.
but we practically started around the same time. And I
Yeah.
mean, Invader Sim. I looked at Invader Sim so long after it'd been on air.
Yeah, although part of it I think is because at the time it was not like a super well-known show. It was just like,
That's
oh, that
true. I
creepy
knew
show
of
on
it though.
Nick. Yeah.
I remember hearing a lot about Gurr and seeing girls with little like Gurr backpacks and shirts, and I'm like, it's cute.
Mm.
I like it.
Yeah, I see. So yeah, but just like other shows, even like Avatar, which I declared my favorite Nicktoon. I didn't start watching until I think I even started watching like before like season three came out because I still remember I didn't even watch the first episode was not the first one I saw. My first was The Blind Bandit.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
That's a good episode to start off with.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like I was kind of surprised. I was hooked. I first thought it was like, oh, it's that show that Penny likes, and then it's like hey, this is like really interesting. So yeah, it's just like, and also
Yeah.
regular show. I think I started watching midway because like I just randomly saw it in a YouTube video. I was like, oh, it's an interesting show, and it's just like first episode I watched, Mordecai and Rigby get sucked into a telephone back to the '80s, and it's just like,
Oh, that's
whoa, what?
fun.
Like that was like
Oh.
a like just perfect introduction to like the surreal humor of the show. Because like I didn't expect it. I was just thinking, oh, it's gonna be like '80s references and the characters talk in like a sort of way where it's like they can't like say words like hell and shit, but it's like they could kind of imply. But it's like I had no idea it was like a surreal comedy. So it's like when they got, it was just like, whoa, what is this? I like this, but what is this?
Yeah, isn't that the one where they have like that telephone that, yeah,
Yeah,
and they
the
have to
night.
wear like
Yeah, the
tinfoil
19.
hats for it?
Yeah, because Pops supposedly like they implied that Pops was getting like cancer or something, and his head
Yeah,
was
like a
throbbing.
tumor, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Like yeah, it was just yeah, so it's just like really great. And I think for me, regular show was the show that like got me into what many consider like the cartoon like renaissance of the 2010s.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, like, at the time, I was turning into one of those people that was like, oh, I don't watch TV, I just watch YouTube sort of people.
Yeah, and it was funny for me to see those two things kind of come together because I remember I had a friend in high school who also watched Bravest Warriors.
Yeah.
And when I heard she was watching Bravest Warriors, I'm like, oh shoot, there's more people watching this crazy stuff on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And from there was Being Puppy Cat. If you guys know what Being Puppy Cat is, oh my gosh, I just love it. It's adorable. And then from there, seeing that translate into these new shows that were coming from Cartoon Network, I mean, who would have thought that, the same guy that you're watching make his own stuff online is going to have his show on Cartoon Network,
Yeah.
Uh, in this case, Pendleton Ward. Not to mention that it was one of the first looks we got into Rebecca Sugar working into it. Have you seen Bravest Warriors?
I've seen bits and pieces. Penny used to watch
Okay.
the show. I think she also like wanted to cosplay as one of the characters at one point.
Yes, because there's even this little skit that Catbug has where he's playing with the sticks
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, Rebecca, I love you. And the little stick that's named Rebecca is like, oh, but I'm in love with another man. And he goes into this whole like melodrama thing.
Mm-hmm.
They got the name Rebecca because Rebecca was one of the people working on
Yeah,
there.
Rebecca Sugar.
Yeah, so then from there I'm like, wait, you are from here. Who this person is also from here, and those people were from this show that I
Mm-hmm.
watched when I was a kid. Oh my gosh. Just it was incredible, and I mean I think that's why when people ask me what my favorite Cartoon Network show is, I don't say Steven Universe, I don't say Adventure Time, although I absolutely love them.
Mm-hmm.
And they are amazing and probably even better. I don't want to like say objectively because everything is awesome from all of these different shows, but Misadventures of Flapjack.
Ah, I
Just
see.
because
Yes.
I think I once looking at kind of like the lineage of where all these shows were coming, they all just kind of like circle into this one show that a lot of people didn't give a lot of attention, and then lo and behold it led to this craze and this new era of animation that is just insane.
Yeah.
you
Like I
know
know. Like, didn't the Flapjack creator voice Gideon in Gravity Falls?
yes, and not only that, but I think Pendleton Ward and the guy who was in charge of Over the Garden Wall were both on the Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack
I
as
see.
writers. So once I found that out, I was like, "Holy
Yeah,
man!"
it's actually kind of fun to like go back to these older shows and you recognize the name. It's like, yeah, so that's like it's like you're discovering like the roots. It's like when I watch like an old
Exactly.
episode of Rocko's Modern Life and I see Steven Hillenburg, God bless him, but Steven Hillenburg's name is just like, so that's what you were doing before
Yes,
SpongeBob.
it's like
Yeah,
this.
let's
This
like
is where it.
yeah,
This is where it
or
began.
or like seeing
You know.
Brian Konietzko. Did you know Brian Konietzko, the Avatar co-creator? He worked on Zim. Yeah,
What?
if you go look at
Oh my
like the
gosh.
credit sequences of some Zim episodes, you'll see Konietzko's name.
Oh my gosh. That
Yeah.
is that is awesome.
So, yeah, so it's definitely like really like fun to go back to. I mean, yeah.
So yeah, that's probably why I get so giddy. Also, I just absolutely loved The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack when it was on air.
hmm
I love that show. Flapjack is adorable little precious being that needs to be protected.
I see what you mean. Yes.
Oh,
hmm Okay, so yeah, so I think
okay.
I'm gonna end things off here because it's getting late and
It is,
yeah, we
but
just
it's worth it.
yeah, it is. Like it was just like I mean, just Young Blood Old Souls, just like really great episode. Oh yeah, just one of the best Owl House episodes. Has a lot of great emotional moments, and we're excited for season 2.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm already wondering when we're going to have it. I'm gonna have to try to be extra patient, but It will
Yeah.
be worth it.
I kind of see it as, and it's also good to like take a break from shows. Like,
That's true.
yeah.
That's true.
It's just now it's just I kind of hope that like maybe before or maybe during season 2. Hold on. I know I keep talking about this character, but I don't care here now. But it's like like Star had like gallery nucleus events and panels. It's like I want to see Owl House
Oh,
have the
I
same thing.
want to see Yell House Gallery Nucleus event. I love going to Gallery
I'd
Nucleus.
love to see that someday. Well, do you think they might even do? Because you know how like with Star they did Gallery Nucleus at the Blood Moon Ball. Could you imagine if they did the Grom dance? I can think of a couple cosplayers who might watch the stream that like I want to see. I'd love to see them dance as Moose and Amity. Yeah, yeah. It's just that. Yeah, so hopefully after pandemic, like those kinds of things, because like I'd like to see the Owl House, or and even to like Amphibia, like get this kind of
Oh yeah,
those kind
that
of
would be
news.
another really good one for me to look into because I haven't gotten the chance to yet, but it looks really, really interesting.
Yeah, I've reviewed a couple episodes, and it's one of those shows that I'm thinking of reviewing, but I'm not like confirming anything just yet.
Right, that's
Yeah,
fair.
because my schedule is crazy, and it's not always predictable. But I mean, it's just like the opportunity, like it would be fun if they could do like an event where it's like you could meet Dana Terrace or Wendy Malick. I mean, you said you know Wendy Malick from BoJack Horseman, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah, that's right. She was BoJack's mom.
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh, that's gonna be hard. Oh
And it's just like, and
wow.
for me, it's like if they bring Alex Hirsch, it's like we've never gotten to meet Alex Hirsch, and so it's just like,
Oh, I would be so
yeah,
happy.
so yeah, just be so great. Like just like we got the chance to meet and interview Darren FC and Ricky Simon. It's like I want like I want like the Owl House to have its turn next.
Oh, absolutely. That
Yeah,
would be
or it's like Mae
amazing.
Whitman, like voicing like she was Katara and now she's voicing Amity. It's just like, please, opportunity, what, please, it's someday.
Wait, hold on. What? Really?
I thought I told you Mae Whitman
I don't
voiced.
know. I have horrible memory. I may have forgotten, but oh my gosh.
Yeah, she voiced both Katara and Amity. And I'll be honest, I didn't recognize the voice at first. Like the only time I could tell it's Mae Whitman is like when Amity like speaks in like a softer like tone of voice. You could kind of hear Katara.
I could not pick up on that at all.
Yeah.
That just
Although granted, we're talking about two very different characters. Katara was the motherly but tough fighter, whereas Amity was the initially cold but deep down really like a kind person.
oh my
You know,
gosh.
it's just
I'm
like that's
even
good
more
acting.
excited
That's good
now.
acting.
Wow.
It's like what I say with Matthew Reese when I go from seeing him in like from what little I've seen in A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood to The Owl House. It's like holy crap, you're now playing a supervillain basically.
Yeah, and for me, like seeing someone go from a character like BoJack's mom. I can't think of the name of BoJack's mom right now, but
Hmm.
yeah, just go. They're so cold, so like angry and angsty to somebody who could still manage to have like a warm heart and just
Hmm.
be straight up motherly after doing a character that just could not. I'm here like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, it's just incredible. Like things we learn about like acting. Like I still, not to get off topic, it's just like I just remember still being in high school and seeing like the kids in the drama class. Like it's like when they like get into like character, like that in itself, I'm just like mind blown. It's just like wow, it's like you could turn into a completely different person right before my eyes. I
Right.
really wish I knew how to get
Crazy.
into character without having to pull a Daniel Day Lewis because I'd really love to do like something like Blood Moon Marco versus Emperor Belos. But Steven will tell you this: my worst habit is when the camera flips on, I start laughing for whatever
Oh
reason.
no. I mean, I've had my share in front of the camera.
Hmm.
I was even in a student film when I was 8.
Wow.
And got that student film its only award, mind you, as Best Supporting Actress.
Hmm.
Uh, I know I'm here like But as far as like having like professional experience in the sense of continuing to do that, outside of that, I've not. But I do really enjoy the idea of kind of playing characters. So my mom
Yeah.
even kind of said like if I was going to work at Disneyland, she could see me being like the ghost host voice for the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah. I think,
So,
yeah, just for me, it's just, I think I just do my best work when I'm in front of a camera, not, or not in front, but like if I'm
behind,
not behind, yeah.
right?
I mean, obviously I'm in front because I'm doing a stream with you, but I mean, when it comes to acting, it's like,
Right.
yeah, I'm not, yeah, I have,
And then there's a difference between being in front of a camera and just speaking your mind and being in front of the camera and creating a character,
yeah,
you know.
yeah,
Which, I mean, to an extent, you kind of have to do that anyway, but it's not the same as like having to have this character that was already made for you and you have to tap into it.
yeah, I mean, like, get. I mean, of course, there's like preparation videos. Like I'm looking over my notes and trying to, like stay objective and relax, so that I don't go bananas. But it's like getting into like somebody who may even be like a completely different person from me,
Yeah.
and I don't want to be in that situation where like people could tell, like, hey, it's that guy. And
Yeah, and to be fair, there are some people who manage to just kind of use their natural voice and manage to portray different personalities through it, and I think that's just as awesome, you know.
yeah,
I
definitely.
think I think there are some voices that are just iconic,
Hmm.
uh, but yeah, you know, it's like there's still that kind of effort in, or more so the entire effort of trying to create another person is still there, just because they may not necessarily go there themselves as far as emotions go, but they can definitely display it for another character when necessary. And I think that's the whole point. Well, maybe not the whole point, but a big part of the point is to do something that you don't typically do on your own.
Yeah, I think so too. So, all right. So this time, I'm really gonna say it. So it's like, yeah. So we're gonna end things off. So if anybody else has any thoughts on the Owl House, particularly the finale, you could let us know in the comments. And it's been fun talking about the Owl House and then some with you, Gabby. I'm really glad that that we're able to like talk about the series. I really wanted to see if it would be something you would be interested in, and it seems like,
Beyond interested. I
yeah.
am look, I maybe not so low key obsessed.
Hey, like I've been there with like shows like Star and Avatar, so it's like, yeah. So leave your thoughts down below, and we really appreciate for the people who were in the chat. Thanks for um your comments, and Herlon, thanks for sending me the questions Instagram. Maybe
Yes,
we'll
thank you
talk
so
even
much.
yeah, well maybe we'll even talk even more theories when the second season comes out. So until next time, this has been Gabby and Bloodman Bobby, and we'll see you all later.